All right, I want to welcome everyone for joining today. I want to welcome back a guest on the show that I've had before, Chandler from the Houston Chronicle. Chandler, welcome back to the show. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing great. So let's get into this interview. All right, we're going to go ahead and start. I interviewed you in the beginning of the year, and we talked about a lot of the things that the Astros have a lot of the issues that maybe that we think that they could go throughout the season, a lot of the good things that could happen. Talked about last year. We're at the mid-break point going into this week. We've got the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees up this week. So where do you think Houston's at going into the All-Star break with these two teams coming into town?
It's kind of gone to chalk. I think kind of what you expected. They have the best offense in baseball, and it's not particularly close. I think the offense is maybe even a little better than I thought it'd be, given how good Gurriel's been. I did not expect him to have the sort of elite season he's had, especially after what happened last year. They've done it really too with Bregman, with Alex Bregman slumping a lot. He's hurt right now, but even before he was hurt, he was not the Bregman of old. And to see both Tucker and Gurriel, I think when they're clicking, that lineup is just so much longer, and it just gives it so much more length. And it's the best lineup in baseball. They're seven deep. Miles Straw's playing at a very good level right now too, and that's kind of gone under appreciated and not really noticed so much. But I mean, over his last 20 or 30 games, he's got his own base percentage up to around 350. He's been really good for them the last 20 or 30 games, and if he can just keep doing that, this is a lineup that's eight deep, and not a lot of teams have that. Pitching wise, I think their rotation depth is fine. I'm curious to see when Garcia, Urquidy, and Javier reach some innings limits that they haven't thrown before later in the season. I'm curious to see how that affects their stuff, if at all. And then the bullpen's a mess. They've got Ryan Presley, and he's been really good. He's obviously going to go to the All-Star game, but no one else in that bullpen inspires any sort of confidence. I don't think the answers are Josh James, Austin Pruitt, and Pedro Baez. Like, I just don't think they're going to come and save the bullpen. I think they've got to go out and get something. I think they've got to go out and get some outside help at the deadline. I don't know that they will do that, though, because of a lot of extenuating circumstances. But right now they're a World Series contender. I don't think they can win with the bullpen they have. I don't think they can win kind of with the pitching depth that they have. But that lineup, when it gets hot, and as we saw during that 11-game winning streak, when that lineup gets hot, it doesn't really matter who's pitching for them. They can just really outscore anybody.
All right, so you talk about them being able to want to win a World Series. Jose Urquidy talked about that yesterday with talking about when Gurriel got snubbed. What's the team culture in the dugout right now? How are the guys feeling? What's the atmosphere in the dugout right now?
It's kind of hard to say, just given that we're not in the I'm not in the clubhouse. I can't really get a good feel for it, but I mean, it seems like they're all kind of gelling a little bit. These guys have been together for so long that it's like I don't think they needed to like create any new culture or anything. I mean, these guys. I mean, the infield's been playing together since 2016. Michael Brantley's been here 3 years now. Tucker's getting toward not veteran status, but he's been here 3 years. I mean, like there aren't many new guys here, and the pitching staff. One benefit of having a lot of homegrown talent is a lot of these young pitchers all pitch together in the minor leagues and like have been together for a while. So they didn't really need a culture change or any sort of thing like that. I think they're just kind of chugging along, and it seems like it's just another year for them. They're just chugging along and enjoying it.
So we talk about the Astros needing some bullpen depth. What do you think that they're willing to give up? I know that their payroll status is really difficult. When they signed Odorizzi, I'm not too sure even how they figured that one out. But what do you think that they're? Do you think that they're going to make a move at the trade deadline, or what's that status like?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised either way. They seem hell bent on not going over the CBT, and they've only got about $1.5 million to play with if they don't want to go over that CBT. It's important to note that like they can go over it. Like it's not like, I mean, the world's not going to end if they go over the CBT. They did it in 2020, and it would be a tough sell for me if I was a fan. It'd be a tough sell for me to hear that, oh, we wanted to save some comp pick compensation 2 years from now, so we're just not going to make a move now. They don't have a ton of prospect capital. I don't think they want to trade. I mean, the few top prospects they do have, I don't think they want to trade them. I don't think they want to trade Corey Lee. I don't think they want to trade Jeremy Pena, who's hurt right now. They don't want to trade Pedro Leon. Like, I mean, other than that, like I think as we've seen, like a lot of these pitchers that have come up and done well, were unheralded. We're not on the prospect list. You didn't see Christian Javier many places. You didn't see Jose Urquidy. You didn't see Framber Valdez. Like these guys, that's what the Astros have become good at. They've become good at finding cheap Latin American talent and really developing them very well. So I don't know. Maybe there's a guy in the lower minor leagues that nobody's talking about that other teams want that they'd be willing to part with. But I can't see them parting with many of their top prospects. And given the financial situation right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make a move. And if they do make a move, I wouldn't expect not that Liam Hendricks is on the trading block, but I wouldn't expect like that sort of reliever to come in. I wouldn't expect like some elite closer because they cost a lot, and there's a lot of teams that are going to be in the market for relievers. So it's going to be a saturated market. The demand's going to be up, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's like maybe not to this extreme. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a Teoscar Hernandez for Francisco Liriano in 2017, like a pitcher that no one's really talking about, that maybe he's not going to throw a ton of leverage innings, but just gives you depth. And I don't think fans would like that, but I think that's probably the most logical route that they go.
So we talked in January last, and we talked about where Carlos Correa was in free agency, and I know that he's obviously most likely not going to sign. Like he was very vocal about it. He wants to get paid, and he's a shortstop where he continues to he just made the All-Star team. He's batting 300. He's better than Francisco Lindor statistically this year, and since Lindor just got 341 million, what is your analysis on Houston paying Carlos Correa if you think they will?
They're not going to. It's really not going to happen unless there's a complete change in how the front office thinks, how Jim Crane operates. I think you saw from their offers in spring, 5 for 125 and 6 for 120. Those are huge deals for any other person. But Carlos Correa is 26. He's the youngest shortstop in this free agent class, and he's on his way to having like a 6 or 7 win season this year. Says he's on pace to have the best season of his career in his walk year. There are going to be teams, I think, much more desperate than the Astros. The Astros, for as much as they would like Correa back and as much as he means sentimentally, they've got Jeremy Pena in the lower level, in the upper levels. I don't think he's ready just yet, but they can go get Andrelton Simmons, Marcus Semien, Brandon Crawford, guys like that, guys in that next tier of shortstops. They can get them on like 1 or 2 year deals to be stopgaps for Pena. I just don't see the Astros being desperate enough to give a guy $300 million. And that's what Correa wants. And it's not, from what I understand, it's not a ton about them. It is about the money. He wants to get paid, but like, he's also 26 years old, and he knows he's the youngest shortstop in the class. Like, he wants a long deal too. He wants an 8 or a 10-year deal, and the Astros have they have not done that under Jim Crane. And I can't really blame him. You can project all you want with Carlos Correa, but do you want the last 4 years? If you give him a 10-year deal, like what do the last 4 years of that deal look like? Like, how does he age? Like, he's already got back problems. Like you don't want to be in a Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols sort of situation where the last 4 or 5 years of those deals were awful for the Tigers and the Angels. And I'm not saying Correa is going to end up like that. It's just that's what you have to take into account when you make these 8 or 10-year offers. And it's pretty clear that Correa wants a Lindor, a Manny Machado type deal, and the Astros just they're not the franchise that's going to give it to him. I think someone will, and that's why I think this is his last year in Houston.
I know that Justin Verlander got hurt, only made 1 start last year, and I know that he's taken up a lot of cap space in that area. And I know that he hasn't been with the team as much due to COVID and all that stuff. Where is he at right now in his rehab process? And is there any chance we could see him at that back end of the bullpen in October, if anything?
I don't know exactly where he's at. He's only talked to us once, and I know he's posted a couple Instagrams of just him playing catch and things like that. He's a ways off. And look, I don't think I don't know why he would do that. I don't know why he would come back for the playoffs. He wants another contract. He wants to play till he's 45. If I'm Verlander, why would I rush back? If he comes back in October, there'd be 12 months post-op. when most guys after Tommy John need 13 or 14 months. And, Verlander's also 37. Like, he's an older guy rehabbing Tommy John. So maybe he needs more time. And then you're going to rush back just to do something that you've only done once in your career, and that's come out of the bullpen. And Verlander's already said if he does come back this year, it will be out of the bullpen. And look, I think it's a pipe dream. I think certainly, it'd be a cool story to watch unfold. But for Verlander's well-being and for his future, I just don't see the point, to be honest with you. I mean, and you don't know how effective he'd be either. Like, you can say like Justin Verlander in the bullpen, like, I mean, Justin Verlander's Justin Verlander, but again, he's never done this before. And the one time he did do it in the playoffs in 2018 or in 2017 in the ALDS against the Red Sox, a lot of people forget he came out of the bullpen and gave up a game-tying home run to Andrew Benintendi. So, I mean, this is not something he's ever done before. You don't know how effective he'd be. And like, when you get into the playoffs, like, do you really want to waste a roster spot on that? On very kind of, you don't know what you're going to get. So I'd be shocked if he comes back. I don't think it's in his best interest, and quite frankly, I don't think it's in the Astros' best interest for him to come back.
So I know Zach Greinke and Justin Verlander are free agents at the end of this year. That you see them coming back to Houston next year. I know Zach Greinke, and I'm not too sure where he stands. So just tell me how you feel about that.
Yeah, I don't see either of them coming back. I think Verlander, I think if they give Verlander a qualifying offer, it'd be a fascinating decision for him. Because the qualifying offer number, I think, would be around $17-18 million, and it's a 1-year deal. I don't know if Verlander wants more than a 1-year deal. The way I look at it, you take that 1-year deal as like a prove it deal, prove you're still Justin Verlander, and then you can go get another multi-year deal after 2020, 2022. I don't see Greinke coming back here. I don't think I'm breaking any news here, but I don't think I don't know if I'm not gonna say he doesn't like Houston, but he's been out and saying he doesn't agree with some of the stuff that they've done with him and how they've handled him, and just doesn't seem like it's a great fit. So I don't know if he wants to continue playing, to be completely honest with you. So I don't see him coming back. I think Verlander's got a pretty fascinating decision to make if they do give him a qualifying offer. If they give him a qualifying offer and he turns it down, I don't think he comes back here. I think he actually already talked to the Detroit paper and told them that, he's thought about going back to Detroit. And I think that would just be that'd be a logical spot for him. They've got a lot of young pitching there, bring him in as the veteran guy, sign him into a 2 or 3-year deal. He's loved over there. He'd probably take a little bit of a discount to go to Detroit. And, maybe he can usher them into their renaissance. But I think both of their days are done in Houston, I think. But if one of them has a better chance of coming back, I'd probably say it's Verlander, but I'm not betting on it.
So as of a couple weeks ago, MLB implemented a new policy on the sticky substance and foreign substances. And how have the Astros reacted to it? And how do you feel about the situation baseball implementing it right in the middle of the season?
Yeah, I don't think it was the best move in the world to implement it in the season, especially like when you've known this was a problem for 10 years and you just kind of haven't done anything. The Astros have been fine. They haven't had, obviously, they haven't had anybody thrown out. When you kind of look at the publicly available data, like, none of their spin rates are dramatically lower. There's a couple guys that you can tell there's some lower spin rates, but I don't think it's anything that is dramatic. I think everyone's adapting to it. I'm not breaking any news here either when I tell you that Astros players used it, that they use sticky stuff. I think everyone uses something. And just because you use sticky stuff, that doesn't make you like a bad person. Like, everyone did it. Everyone used something. And when I say something, it could be sunscreen and rosin. It could be sunscreen, period. It could be mixing some stuff. I haven't heard of any Astros players using spider tack, but who knows? I think certainly they needed to do something because offense was getting to a point where it just wasn't watchable. It wasn't a good product. And they should have done it in spring training, or they should have waited till after the season and done it going into the next CBA. But it was not handled properly, and here we are. But the Astros have handled it fine. Nobody's been thrown out. They're still pitching really well. They're still hitting really well. It hasn't affected them either way.
right, last two questions. One more question, and then I'll get to the last one. Chas McCormick and Miles Straw, Taylor Jones. A lot of those guys have. I was in Cleveland, and those five starters did not play, and it looks like they're just a complete team. Uh, not like it's not that they can't win, but like they can win without having multiple starters. What's the effect of having a Chas McCormick like player on your roster and Miles Straw? Like, what have they brought to the table this year in that dugout?
I mean, they've really they've been saviors. I mean, it's not even just Chaz and Straw who's the everyday guy. I mean, Taylor Jones has come up from the minor leagues and given some good at bats. Abraham Toro has been really really good in Bregman's absence. You need guys like good teams need guys like this. Like good teams, good deep teams are able to absorb injuries and Jordan Alvarez having to go on the paternity list and Maldonado having to go on the bereavement list. I mean, they're able to absorb this kind of stuff. And sure, was that sustainable? Probably not. And it probably helped that they faced three of the four starters they faced in Cleveland were all rookies. So I mean, look, they probably got a little bit of a pass, but certainly, seeing these guys come in the lineup and produce, like that's the hallmark of a good team. That's the hallmark of a deep team is when guys can come in and do not really miss a beat, really. I mean, obviously Alvarez and Correa and Bregman and Altuve are hard to replace, but and these guys are not trying to replace them. They're just trying to hold the rope, and they're holding the rope pretty well.
All right, last question. So you have Boston that we played really well against this year. I believe we had only one game where we didn't play that well. We played Oakland a couple times, started off really well, and then kind of like lost a couple games in that homestand back in Houston. You have the White Sox, how we swept. Who do you think is the biggest threat to Houston from getting to another World Series champion, to another World Series?
I don't know. Like you said, like they've played the best in the American League, and the Astros have looked really good against them, and they've also looked really bad against some of the worst teams in the American League. So it's a hard team to kind of figure out. Personally, I like the White Sox. I think when they came in here, um, they just kind of ran into a buzzsaw. Like the Astros were playing just really, really good, and that first series out of the All Star break in Chicago should be really interesting to see. I like the White Sox because they've got three horses on the mound. They've got Carlos Rodon he's legit, man. Like he's probably the best pitcher I've seen face the Astros this year. And then Giolito's been good. Dallas Keuchel, you know what you're going to get out of Keuchel. Their bullpen, they've got Hendricks at the back. They've got good, like they've got the pitching, I think, that can silence the Astros bats. If the White Sox get their lineup healthy, if Eloy Jimenez, if Jose Abreu, if Yohan Moncada, if everyone is healthy in that lineup, because they're missing a lot of guys right now. If they can get healthy by October, and I don't know if they'll make an addition from the trade market, like they're a threat. And then I think the Red Sox have Chris Sale coming back, and Chris Sale's really good. And I mean the Red Sox, I think you're seeing the value of Alex Cora with them. He's really he's turned them around. He's got their culture back, and you can tell they like playing for him. You can tell he's really got them playing well. So I think those are probably the two biggest threats right now. I wouldn't sleep on the Blue Jays, especially if the Blue Jays acquire like some pitching at the deadline. Like they may have a better offense than the Astros at full strength. With Springer. I mean, obviously the Astros didn't see Springer for any of their 8 games this year. Vladdy's having an unbelievable year. They've got Bichette. They've got Teoscar Hernandez, who's starting the All-Star game. So I mean, there's a few teams that could trip them up. I don't think the American League is quite frankly, I don't think the American League's very good. So I think the Astros certainly have a path here to win a pennant. Now, when you get to the National League, you've got 3 teams that I think are just far and away better than them, and the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Padres, but they're all in one division. So who knows how that's going to go.
All right, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it, and look forward to hearing from you soon, Chandler. Thanks for coming
All
on.
right. All right. Thanks.